How you doing, man?
What's up, guys? We're back, actually.
What up?
On the Artie Lange show with a couple of our regular guests and a new guy. Oh, my God, I just got a glance at what I look like. I look like a Dom DeLuise's fat brother.
Uncle.
Oh, my God, would you look at that?
He's not old enough to be his uncle.
I look like it. I look like I'm smuggling Mexicans in my shirt.
You look Chef Boyardee Art.
What's up, Artie?
I'm here with two of our favorite guests and a new guest that I met just over at the old place, but he's never been on our show here. This is Combat Jack and Dallas from the Combat Jack Show.
What's up?
Reggie, of course, your real name. And this is Just Blaze.
Just Blaze.
What's up, man?
Not much. How are you doing?
Now, I'm okay, other than just seeing myself on
Other than
television.
smuggling Mexicans. I'm smuggling Ethiopians.
See, that's better. They're thinner. You look better.
Exactly. I have a little bit of
I got some chubby Mexicans.
You just got to be shot, as I always say, titty up.
Ah, yeah.
Can we say that on TV?
Sure. What the
Okay,
hell?
titty up.
I mean, but now, just as a producer.
I'm a producer.
He's not
DJ.
just a producer.
I mean, he's like a mega.
You're not just.
Like,
Don't be humble, man.
I do a little bit of everything.
Well, it's funny because, you know, obviously I'm 45 years old, 45-year-old white guy. I don't know. They were playing me some of your songs. I've heard of them, so that means you're probably.
I'm doing okay. I do okay.
Yeah. Now, what is that like? You hear? See, to me, in this hip hop world now, you know, back in the 70s and 80s, the bands like, you know, the singers, songwriters, they were running the show. But I think unless you were talking about Quincy Jones or something,
right?
Producers rule the roost now, man, because it's very
It's
production-oriented.
completely 360.
Yeah.
You know, back then, like you said, aside from maybe a Quincy Jones, you didn't really know who was producing records or who was behind.
You guys are
music
the
that you
stars
love.
now.
Yeah, it's funny. The producer and the DJ have become the star of the show. They're now the rock star.
And they should be, because, you know, you create that sound.
Well, we create the sound, and a lot of people don't really understand what a producer does. The job of a producer is to deliver the final product from start to finish.
Right.
You have that vision. Like, sometimes people think that the producer is the guy who's at the computer programming the music.
Yeah.
Doing no, the producer is the guy that says, all right, you know what? You need to play these drums.
Yeah.
You need to sing this over. You need to cut that over.
And you put it together.
Exactly.
Right.
So you're the guy who's responsible for delivering that final product.
It's like a
to the label.
filmmaker, like there's old saying, Woody Allen and Scorsese supposedly, a lot of the actors, no matter how big a star they are, don't even see the whole script. Woody Allen says, here's your scene, you read it, I'm going to direct it, then I'm putting it together, I'm the visionary.
Exactly. That happens all the time.
That's what hip-hop songs are, right?
I think that's
of a symphony.
Yeah.
And you're the orchestrator.
Definitely. Yeah. Like, there's times where I tell an artist, you just rap to this piece of music that I'm giving you. By the time they get it back, it's an entirely different song.
Well, of course.
Have you ever told Jay-Z, hey, listen, you need to rap better? You need to rap better.
I didn't like that. Let's delete that.
Jay-Z's a producer in himself, right?
No, he is, but I've never told him he needs to rap better. What I have said is, how about we take this line and put it here? Like, I've never, his delivery is so on point. He's not the guy that you're gonna tell that's whack.
He's one of those guys, you know it's him when you hear it. Like,
Exactly.
You know, it's like,
you might say, hey, listen, I know you can do this better, and reference something else that we've done. Like, remember how you did the record or the vocal on such and such? Let's try that approach on this. But you're never gonna be like, yo, that's bad, because his bar is so high.
yeah, you don't want to. Plus, I guess it's not the most diplomatic way to handle it.
No, but the thing is, me and Jay can talk to each other a certain way because we've worked with each other for so long.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
but
good to have that relationship.
It is, and I can be honest with him, and he'll be honest with me.
He's made a lot of money.
Well, I'm sure. Listen, man, you're on that level. But, you know, it's funny how no matter what type of music you're talking about, different generations are the same. Like, Sinatra had a specific type of original phrasing that a guy like Quincy Jones, who was a collaborator, knew how to put together. And it sounded like they had the same exact thing, just talking 40 years ago about a different type of music.
Exactly. The producer and the artist relationship is a special one.
It should be.
And it's something that, like, when you have that mutual respect from producer to artist and vice versa, that's when you get the best part out of it.
Right.
You know, a lot of people confuse production with making beats per se. Just because you make a beat for somebody and they sing on it or they write a song to it.
Now describe what a beat is. Like the song N-Words in Paris, right? Okay, you got dun, 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 that's a beat. That's so much of the hook of it. That's the hook. Like you get a teenager hears that, they start dancing.
And so the first thing they hear is boom,
right. And then you get two guys like Kanye West and Jay-Z, they're so powerful and popular and good at writing lyrics. Whatever they write over that, hit time, right?
Exactly,
I mean, yeah.
exactly. No, now I wasn't around for
That
that.
producer's name is Hit Boy.
Hit
Yeah,
boy.
he's a hit
What an
boy.
excellent way to say that.
No, and that record's a hit. But here's the thing: it's like I wasn't at that session, so I don't know who contributed what in terms of structure or things like things like that.
Yeah.
You know, but the difference between a beat maker and a producer in general is I could go in, say Dallas was a rapper, which he should never be. Why not? Because Dallas should not be rapping.
Let me give you what I think it is real quick, and
Okay.
then you correct me because you have to, I'm sure. But you might hear about a beat like that, and you as a producer say, okay, there's something there. I can do something with this. You purchase that, and then you go to a rapper and say, okay, here, let's do this with this beat. Try this. What do you have? You get that going, and then you construct it.
You're 90% right.
Okay.
Let's say Hit Boy played me the Paris beat.
And you heard that.
Right. I wouldn't necessarily say just me because of my work ethic and the way I operate. I wouldn't say let me purchase this from you.
Right.
Because then I'm taking the credit for it. I don't believe in buying somebody out of their credit.
Oh, okay.
So what I would say is
That's cool.
I like this this beat. Let me take this to Jay-Z and Kanye West. Let's see what we can make out of it. And I might work on the arrangement. I might do overdubs. Well, overdubs is the process of adding additional instruments or changing the arrangement a bit.
Right.
So I may be the producer, but he's still if that happened that way, I would be the producer. He would still be a writer, and if his work was especially prominent on the record, I would still give him co-production.
Oh, okay.
Because
And how do they get compensated? Do they get like royalties too?
they would get royalties.
Yeah.
They would get some songwriters credit. They would get which comes from publishing. So they
Right.
would also get points on a record.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you get what you negotiate at the end of the day.
yeah,
But the
yeah.
way I do my deals, he would get songwriters credit. He would get points, and he would get a co-production. credit.
Now, would you say also that today's beat makers just email artists beats and then they
I was
do
gonna
it
say, you know,
remotely?
here's something. There's a documentary about Jay-Z on I think it's on HBO right now. And one of the most fascinating parts of the whole thing, it's him and a couple of guys in his crew in a studio listening to all these beats people sent them. And he's like there for hours. And, you know, discarding stuff, no. And a couple times they're laughing. He's like, at one time he goes, that guy's got to get out of the basement, man. That guy's too depressed. Like, goofing on some of it. But I can see where half of the job is sitting there for hours trying to find the.
It is,
you know.
and that's where like you're talking about the Fade to Black documentary.
Fade to Black, yeah, that's
Yes,
right.
yes. And like, I mean, I was there for that entire process.
Yeah.
And there are some guys who would just mail stuff in. And if you mail something to Jay-Z, whether it's email, mailing a CD, or to one of his people, and it gets to him, and he raps on it,
Right.
and he records it, and you guys never even meet, you're not really producing.
Right.
You made a beat that
Well,
Jay-Z
no, yeah,
rapped.
but some people would never call a guy a producer. Yeah, you're a
Right,
beat
but
maker,
the thing is, in hip-hop, because traditionally the producer is known as the guy who made the beat, you might get production credit. And it took me, I got into this game very young. I started at like 18 years old.
I was going to say, you're from Patterson, New Jersey?
Yes, Patterson,
What
New
was your
Jersey.
history in music?
Yeah, how
before
long
that?
does it take to get to the level you're at and the respect you have? It's true. I mean,
To
like,
be honest,
what happened?
I was practically born with a record in my hand. Like, I gave my mother her own C-section. I broke the record in half and cut my way out of her.
You produce your own birth.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's
No, like when you were a little kid. I mean, were you
No,
taking
that's
bands
what I
or-
was gonna say. Like, I DJ'd my own first birthday party. Literally. Like, my mother has pictures of me in a Superman outfit with an afro and records in my hand. From there, my father was a keyboard
But were
player.
they? I was going to say, they were musicians on something.
My father was a jazz organist. My mother was a singer.
Right.
And I was surrounded by music. My aunt was an avid music lover. My cousin, who's about 7 or 8 years older than me, was very much into what was the young hip hop scene at that point. It was in its infancy.
And Patterson is where P-Funk's from.
Yeah, no, Patterson's Patterson's
So he exposed me to all this at a very young age. So once I realized one life-changing moment for me, there were two. I will say, listening to Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince's second album,
Right.
where the whole interesting thing about that album was it was half of a rap album, half of a DJ album. Half the album was just Jazzy Jeff doing DJ routine.
So Jazzy Jeff is a real talented guy. I don't hear a lot about him anymore. But he was
Amazing.
pretty influential in
Yes.
that whole thing.
And also,
And
public,
he's still around.
yeah, he's definitely
sure,
he still tours the world,
Oh, okay.
DJing nonstop.
Oh, no kidding.
And then on top of that, you had Terminator X from the group Public Enemy.
Public Enemy, yeah.
Now,
I love Public
I
Enemy.
saw a Public Enemy video once of Terminator X DJing at a concert. And when I saw those two moments, plus seeing the back of the Run DMC album cover, the first one, and
Jam
Jam
Master
Master
Jay,
Jay is just
yeah.
sitting there on the boombox, Like, and I'm just like, that's who I want to be.
Yeah,
I didn't
he
want to
was
be
badass. He
Yeah,
was
I
a
didn't want to be
real
Word. I
thing.
didn't want to be I didn't want to be DMC. I wanted to be Jam Master.
Yeah, Master J. Some people are quick, you know, it's almost like the drummer in a band. Like some people want
Exactly.
to be Keith Moon, not Pete Townsend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And for me,
Why do the drummers always die?
why is that?
Yeah, I don't know, because
How
they
did-
seem to be maniacs.
They deal with the most stress.
They seem to be really the most, like they're banging on those drums. They're the nuttiest, I guess. I
Well,
don't know.
think about it. I mean, I play drums on my records, and I have so much respect for drummers for one reason. When we did the Jay-Z record, Show Me What You Got, and I brought in this drummer named Bam from 1500 to do the initial drumming. And then I came in afterwards and did additional drumming on the record. I was only in the booth for all of 10 minutes. And I was sweating, and my arms were hurting.
It's
and
hard.
and I'm like, I look at somebody, I'm like, yo, how do like these like metal drummers especially?
gotta be
Yeah,
turned
metal
up.
drummers.
You gotta be turned up,
And a
man.
3-hour concert.
Yeah, exactly. For a 3-hour concert, get
Turned
up there
up,
and
man.
play.
Yeah,
you
There's
gotta get
no
in
way I
shape.
could do that.
Some great drugs,
A lot
man.
of cocaine, yeah.
I guess I don't know what that high is like, and I don't want to know.
But you combine with the performing high and then the whatever. But, you know, I derailed you from John's question, which was a good one. Like, how do you get to the point where you're in the booth with Jay-Z? Like, what happens in your life? Like,
the shortest way I can put it is, grew up, eventually realized that DJing is what I wanted to do.
Right.
And for me, production is an extension of DJing. Once you spend enough time playing other people's music, you eventually learn how to make your own.
right.
Went from DJing local parties and working with a lot of local artists.
Yeah.
And you know, New Jersey and New York are close to each other, but they're still far mentally.
Musically, they are? I mean,
Musically,
like,
they're far
yeah.
apart. So it took from me going from Patterson to Newark, where there was a bigger local hip hop scene that was crossing over into the mainstream.
Right.
And meeting some of these artists and realizing that they were people just like me back when I was like 17, 18, to even just give me that confidence to say, let me try this for real.
Who's the first major
So-
star that you met, man?
The first major star that I met,
In your eyes.
for me and locally, was two things. It was like my second week of college at Rutgers and watching Redman drive down the street.
Redman.
I didn't even meet him, I just saw him.
He's from Wu-Tang.
No, Redman, well, he's
Wu-Tang
affiliated
Clan?
with them. He's affiliated with them.
Oh, okay, wasn't
He's
one
got
of
a dual affiliation. Wu-Tang
wasn't one
and-
of them,
And Def Squad.
okay.
He's
Him and
the
Method
lead.
Man have done a lot of records.
Oh, he's a Newark guy. I thought
Yeah.
they were all Staten Island guys. He's a Newark
Well,
guy.
no, Meth is
The
from, no, I'm
Bricks.
sorry, Red is from Newark.
Okay.
And then there was another group, there were two other groups called Lords of the Underground and the
Sure.
Artifacts.
Yeah.
And I met both of them at an open mic place that a friend of mine used to do at a club called The Pipeline, which was in Newark. And I ended up DJing for them during their open mic, and that was kind of one of the biggest batteries in my bag.
And that led you into. It's so funny how hip hop and comedy have a lot of the same vernacular because there's open mics in comedy.
Yeah.
There's open mics with you know, MCs and stuff. When you're freestyling and everything, it's very much like a comedy contest.
No, it is.
Like
It
those
totally
battles are like goofing on each
No,
other.
my
It's a
sister's been
roast.
doing the stand-up open mic circuit lately.
Yeah.
So it's like watching.
Which is why Def Comedy Jam was a perfect fit for Russell Simmons.
So watching her, I'm sitting there looking at her like, you're doing the same thing that these rappers were doing when
Yeah.
I was DJing for them 10, 15 years ago.
Right.
But Artie, are guys allowed to use other comedians? Are comedians allowed to use other comedians' lines?
No, definitely not.
Not at all.
That's a big no, man. Yeah.
In hip hop, you're allowed to use someone else's
Oh, you want?
lines.
No, I want to get into that.
necessarily.
We got to break. We got to
What?
break. I want to get into that, but that's interesting. No way. I don't want to see in what context it will be allowed. But let's take a break first. And this is fun. We're hanging out with the guys from Combat Jack and
Black
Jeff
Friday.
Blaze here. And we'll be back after these words on the Artie Lange Show.
That's right.